3, 2.
It'll be like Pathfinder. Hi, everybody! Welcome. Come on in. The water's fine. It is Tuesday night. It is time for another exciting episode of Wonder, our 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game here on Indigo Chameleon. Are you guys ready to play?
I'm so excited. That reveal, though. Thank you, sir. Gentleman and the scholar.
Oh god.
Ever so quickly, as he regretted a decision.
The time it takes me to get my breath back counts as a short rest.
Got my spell slots.
Hold up, Indigo.
Top camera.
Top camera. Oh, it just moved.
It's stuck.
It's very stuck.
It's
Alright.
been.
Well, wait,
At
so
least
like
I
the-
look great in the photo.
I'll try to fix it while you're going.
Not
and
awkward
then
at all.
if Not.
Cool. So stand by,
what else?
folks. We may have
You
some
can talk. I may
technical
be able to fix it on.
difficulties. We're going to try to fix it on the fly. Thank you so much for
Can you
tuning
react
in
to it?
tonight. We've got a few announcements before we get started. Lots of things happening here on Indigo Chameleon. Tomorrow night, there's not a show going on here. But Thursday, we're going to have some homebrew and brew with you. As we
Damn you!
as we homebrew the Ravenclaw sort of additions to there, and I think there's also going to be some dipping our toes into Neverland as we start playing around with some of the different races. We've got some good ideas. I want to work a little bit on some stuff, so we should talk. Friday. I don't know what's going on Friday. I still haven't decided yet. It's going to be something happening here on the stream. Save any sort of like catastrophic technological failure. But tune in on Friday. I've got some ideas of brewing. One of which is I would need some brave players. I've fallen down the rabbit hole of one-sheet RPGs where you have to design an entire RPG that fits on a sheet of paper. So rules, backstory, gameplay dynamics, all of it. And I showed one to Al the other day, and it's about giant crabmen truckers. More of that later. So stay tuned.
We'll come back to that.
To the Discord for updates on schedule and things of that sort.
See behind the scenes right now because this did not go back to the place that it was before. Hey guys, this is what it's like behind the scenes. Here you go.
Hi. I think we're gonna go to technical.
No, actually, I've got it up now.
Yeah.
No, we're good. Okay, so
Yeah, that's fine.
He's fine.
yeah.
See, look at that. I see them. They're there. It's beautiful.
Great.
Hey.
No, it's fine now. You can see them.
Sunday night. Sunday night is
Fine.
going to be a very special one-shot here on Indigo Chameleon. It is going to be a different DM sitting in the DM seat. It is our very own Audie, who's going to be DMing a campaign set in a brothel. So it's not for kids. So tune in for that one on Sunday as we get to visit the brothel. I believe it's called the Hellhole.
Yes.
Not even be for overly sensitive adults.
It may not even be for overly sensitive adults. So tune in for that. We'll do
They're
a
ready to cause havoc.
we'll do a disclaimer before that episode as well, which will cycle us back around to Tuesday Night Wonder. But I think that's it for announcements. Let's jump into when last we left our heroes. When last we left our heroes, we had a bit of a heist. We got to meet the wonderful, amazing barbarian Dull, who, as quickly as she entered into the scene, quickly became like a part of our hearts as well. All of us fell in love with Dull and the way that Legend Hillary played her, and we all vowed that we would burn this campaign to the ground, which is very irresponsible for a DM. If anything should happen to her. We got to spend some time with the Dormouse. I believe it's the first time that we've had a god in our midst that's just sort of walked and talked and hung out and just sort of was pleasant conversation, with the exception of when the first time we interacted with Cheshire a bit. After making this wonderful heist and breaking into the floating bank, the group came out with a couple of things. One, they came out with a shit ton of gold. Two, Day came out with a journal that belonged to her mother that was being held by an unnamed person for an unnamed reason in the most secure bank in all of Wonder. So that's something.
Concerned.
Gave us 1 hour. So that's good.
Bowie, looking around and trying to commune with her deity, the caterpillar, managed to find a small trace of him being held in a bank vault, and when she opened the sort of case revealing what was calling out to her that sang of caterpillar energy, she found a stuffed elephant who, when you squeeze it, its eyes lit up. Mandrick discovered some new effects that the hat had, and we had some bonding with Gray and our good buddy Grim, and
Nyx was there.
Nyx was there, and
We did things.
Nyx got to meet a very drunken robot very briefly, and play around with some invisibility, which was fun. Invisibility for kids. So to top that all off, as we came back home to the house and people settled in for the night, there was a long rest that was had, and then a knock on the door in the morning. As a beautiful, gorgeous man stood at the door, and upon a perception check made by Day, discovered someone that they thought was an older wizard being held off on the side of the porch. It was their good friend, their good buddy Bard, Asir, who was hiding in the skies and drinking and eating free and this whole time in the house. So, we pick up right where we left off. Thoe, Day, you are standing on the porch. You see this sort of gentleman standing there, the green skin, sort of plain clothes, and a sort of giant spider sitting on his shoulders. And Day, you have noticed this here sort of tied up in the corner.
Hello?
You did that?
Boy, that's me.
Did I actually get my scale in my hand yet, or is he just handing
I've
it
got
out?
He's got it in his hand.
Okay. I believe that's mine.
I believe so too. But just to make sure that I'm getting it to the right people, can I have your name, please?
Oh, my name's Zoe.
Zoe.
Hi.
Hello.
I like
Can
your
have
spider.
Day.
yours? Day. Thank you. So this is yours.
What's his
I
name?
also. Her name is Charlotte.
Her name. Hi, Charlotte.
Oh.
That I don't know why, but that just seems like such a fitting name for a spider.
Doesn't it? She's lovely. So,
So what is your name?
my name's En.
Say that again.
En.
Enwin. And how did you acquire that?
This gentleman has upset a few people. One of them is my friend Nancy, who asked me to take care of him for you. So,
Now, what does he look like right now? Does he still does he still look like
Me
guy
or-
who's no? Does he still look like guy who stole my dragon scale, or does he look like someone else right now?
I would say this time the magic has weared off. In the corner, past Aowen is Izir, who is tied up and is just sort of trying to yell through a gag. You don't know what he's trying to yell, but he's sort of tied up in the corner. But you know for a fact that you recognize him as the one who took your scale. Give me an investigation check as you sort of walk over closer to where Izir is tied
Whatever
up.
you do, dear, don't take the gag out. It's more entertaining to watch.
That would
And
be a
spot.
21.
As you start to examine, you see that these the ropes that seem to be binding him are thick white ropes that seem to be pulsating a light sort of blue magical energy to them. So you don't know what that is used for, but you know it's preventing him from escaping at the moment.
I don't even care. I want him out of here. How do we get rid of him? I
but he's
just-
already outside.
Well, he is outside. He's too close to proximity for my comfort at this point.
They'll be allowed to catch him very shortly.
I'd like to walk outside towards him, but not close enough that he can reach me. That was not nice.
He's not a nice man.
No, he's not. He stole it and it was mine. What are you planning to do with him?
Oh, that's up to Nancy. I'm not doing nothing. I was told to come here, deal with that, and here I am.
Wait, that's up to who?
Nancy?
Nancy. Who's Nancy?
Nancy's the one who sent me here.
Where did Nancy send you from?
From home.
And home is?
Not far, sort of west.
West.
Have you heard of the Mother Tree?
The mother tree. Is that the same as the home tree?
No.
Give me history checks. You can make this at advantage. You would be more familiar with this than Day would. Give me history checks here. You can have this at advantage, though. Day, you're making this straight up.
History?
History.
Well, a 2 is not going to be good enough, but a 17 might be.
I got a 19.
That would be a 22.
Okay, you both are somewhat familiar with this. Day, maybe in some of your storytelling days, you heard stories, and Thoe, your people would be very familiar with this. In some of the deeper Forest of Wonder, there is rumor of a race of people that are not born, but planted and grown from the mother tree. Every once in a while, the mother tree drops a seedling, like the seedling hatch, and when they hatch, they are fully grown beings that protect the forest or work closely with animals or do things, and then suddenly the green skin of this visitor suddenly makes a lot more sense to you.
Okay, girl.
And would Nancy, would I be making any connections here? Would I have any?
Both of you make a religion
Yeah.
check for me. This is going to be high DC.
No, I have no idea.
19.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't ring a bell. He doesn't like.
Do I know what these people are called? They drop from the trees. It doesn't matter.
You alright there, dear?
You're from the mother tree.
Oh, I did just say that.
You're the people of the mother tree.
Aye.
I've heard of the people of the mother tree.
So am I.
Oh my gosh, are you one of the people? You're one of the people, aren't you?
Is she like this all the time?
Only when she finds something very interesting.
This is so interesting.
So the weird thing is, like, this whole conversation took place like at the front door, like he's still standing there, being like, "Can I come in?" Like, so by this time, the three of you would have been aware that there's noise, especially after Thoe's like, "You're like,
Question for you before I invite you in. Nothing against you. Do we leave him there? Because quite frankly,
Why? Charlotte's got him tied up. He'll be fine.
Charlotte.
He'll be all.
Charlotte makes more sense now. Oh, I was talking about the ropes, not the name.
yeah, you managed to piece that together. That whatever
Yes.
happened, and as you go, oh, that makes more sense now. Charlotte on his shoulder sort of like tilts her eyes at you, and all of them blink, and she's sort of like,
Can Mimi like come out from the ankle form and like skitter up and like become friends with? Because I feel like Mimi and Charlotte are destined to be best
give
friends.
me
at
an
this point.
animal handling check.
Oh,
as
God.
as you sort of tap the little ankle bracelet. And,
Okay.
come play nice with the other kids at the daycare, like you know, like.
8.
Yeah, Mimi comes up and she sort of like sits on your shoulder, and then she's sort of this little blob, and as Charlotte sort of cocks her head to the side, and Mimi sort of cocks her head to the side, and Charlotte bows, and Mimi goes, like, and then you manage to get a hand on her before she jumps off, and you know.
Sorry, that happens. She's new to the spider thing.
Okay.
Yes. Mimi, down, please.
Alright.
I'm not sure I trust leaving him outside on his own. I think perhaps we should just have him somewhere where we can keep an eye on him.
Oh, quite frankly, dear, I don't trust him in the house either, so...
Well, I don't trust him in either place, but I don't really want to leave him by himself.
What do you suggest?
Either we drag him inside and keep an eye on him, or we have somebody stay out here to keep an eye on him. Which I will do if I have to, but I'm really, 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 really wanting to go inside right now.
I can leave Charlotte with him.
Well, it's very nice that your spider, Charlotte, is willing to stay with him, and I have the greatest of respect for spiders, don't get me wrong, but...
Charlotte disappears from his shoulder and reappears on top of yours.
Does that mean she likes me?
Why?
I like you too, Charlotte.
She gives you this weird version of a like spider hiss. Like it's if you're not into spiders, you're not digging this. But if you're into animals, it's like a little bunch of little hairs and stuff like that. And then with a poof, she is back over to Enwin's shoulder and disappears.
Are you fairly confident that she has the tools to keep him in place and make sure he doesn't go away?
Oh, aye, those are her webs. She's got them.
Okay.
I like the spider. I'm in. Okay, moving on. T, mother.
Mother is already, as you sort of turn around and look, Mother has already set up the living room and is pushing the final chair to sort of complete everything. She's got tea sort of already lined up. She smooths out her apron.
Reliable as ever. Thank you, mother.
Of course, dear. Your room is ready for you whenever you would like.
Oh, thank you.
And she turns around and heads back into the house.
She's very
Is anyone going to tell us who this is that you've just invited into our home?
Enwin.
I'm Enwin, and can I have your names?
Mandrake.
Great.
You can call me Nix.
Nix. Grim.
Yes.
And Mandrake. Alright. So,
Anyone want to tell us why he's in our home?
Apparently he's from a tree.
just take a look outside, you'll see.
He brought back the dragon scale.
Oh.
He also tied up the wizard, who is not a wizard.
The wizard. Wait,
Which-
do we know this yet?
Which wizard?
The wizard?
You weren't paying attention. She was paying attention.
So, fun fact, Asia was the wizard this whole time. Nobody thought to ask him, nobody thought to do an insight.
So
He's
our
been in our
house has not
home,
been guarded?
living off our food, and we have no magic on it. Well, that's not necessarily true. There is tons of magic in this house. However, it's not protection magic. Not
So
to
in
my
other words,
knowledge.
his house can kind of guard itself, but he hasn't been doing it the house has.
Nix, give me an intelligence check.
I'm only
8.
laughing because he's laughing.
8. Yeah, right now your rage of being duped once again by this frickin' bard has just sort of blinded you to it, but you think with a little bit of time, maybe studying in the library and start looking into the specifics of the house and what can protect it and how it is protected, you might be able to figure out why now things are starting to look a little bit more stronger, like why mom and dad appeared and stuff like that, but it's just going to take some research.
I'm gonna start checking around the house for traps.
Okay. Like at the outside of the house?
Yeah.
Okay, as you walk out of the house, what is your passive perception?
Passive is 16. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah.
come out of the front door of the house and Mandrake, you guys all watch as he just goes, and like, are you going to, I need to know, when you come out of the house, you going immediately to the right or the left and you're just doing a perimeter check?
I was gonna go to the left and circle the house.
Okay, as you go to the left, you spot Azir as he's being carried off into the forest by what looks to be a small army of tiny spiders, which have now congregated and are carrying him away. He doesn't look happy about it.
I'm going to immediately start screaming, "Spiders!" and run back in the house.
As you run back into the house, that's when you take notice of the new person who's standing in your house and the giant spider that is on their shoulder.
Get it out of the house! Get it out of the house!
Get what out of the house?
That.
What?
He means a spider.
Thank you,
Oh,
Grim.
spider?
Mother, there's a bug in the house.
No, there's a spider in the house. A spider is not a bug.
His name is Charlotte.
It is an arachnid. Sorry.
And he'll be kind to her.
I would never hurt a spider
Good.
unless.
Done.
I'm just not comfortable with it being in the house.
What aren't you comfortable with the spider?
You mean the incredibly large, venomous creature that you've just invited into our home?
Charlotte is not an it. Charlotte is a female
Did you
arachnid.
not carry
That's true.
around?
She's also, that's sort of speciesist. She's not venomous.
She's not venomous.
She's not.
Those very large fangs aren't venomous.
No.
Is she
See?
poisonous?
Only if you eat her.
No, there we go.
Does she stay where you tell her to?
Oh, why?
I suppose she can stay. And I'm gonna go to the other end of the room.
I so want to cast a cantrip right now.
I'm gonna sit down
It's
and
just a
start
giant
having
land
some tea.
octopus. I don't understand.
Leave it to the cards and all your words describing things, of course.
Looking for permission to mold infestation.
I'm gonna cast message to him and say something seems off about this guy. I don't trust him.
Too soon to tell, but me neither.
Okay, all right. So, you caught the Asir, the bard, the one who was, quite frankly, on my
Moved
last
him up,
nerve for
yes.
more reasons than one. What is your next step here? Do you just plan to hang out and about, or
Oh, I was told I was supposed to be here, so here I am.
by Nancy?
Hi. And Mother seems to have already set room for me, so.
Well, Mother's wonderful. We
That's
adore
true.
her very much. That's true.
I'm sorry. Can
This
we
may
backtrack?
be-
I'm a bit lost. What
Oh.
what tree, mother thing? What?
The Mother Tree.
But also our
Okay.
mother, the one who made the tea.
He's
There.
from the mother tree. They
And there's Nancy.
drop and they plant and they sprout. Oh my gosh, I'm probably
What?
giving away personal stuff, and I don't want to talk about you like you're just an object or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you should tell your story, but it's so interesting.
History or
Zoe, do you need an autograph?
Actually, I did pretty
You're
good.
fangirling.
I don't know what
two separate
fangirling
roles.
is.
Oh,
What was
Yeah,
your role for Mother
fangirl.
Tree?
first one, would it be history?
Yeah.
18.
Okay, so you know the Mother Tree.
Okay, yeah.
Give me another history or religion check.
22.
You don't know who Nancy is, but
Wait, which one? Religion or history was I doing that one?
you're doing religion for that one.
Okay, then 19.
Nope, you have no idea who
Yeah.
he's talking about.
This may be an incredibly weird question, but I'm also a bard, so probably not that weird. May I see your room?
Sure. We can all go up together.
I would love to know
We'll
what
see
the
it for the
house
first
is
time.
built for you.
Wait.
He's got a room now.
He has a room now. Mother said so.
Mother said he has a room.
Mother
wanna-
said he has a room.
I want to
Just
talk to
sending these
Mother.
out now.
We are.
Yeah.
Sure, as they go up to the room.
Yeah.
Mother sort of gestures to the, and she's at the top of the stairs, second bedroom on the left here.
Thank you, dear.
And she continues to sort of tidy up the place and sort of adjust things.
I'm gonna stay on stage.
Mandrake stays behind. As you head upstairs, you can describe to me what his room looks like. If he was to find the most comfort in it, I added a bit of customization to the rest of the characters. I imagined foresty, Greek. No. What does his room look like?
It's probably got a dirt floor.
Okay.
At least one of the walls is probably stone, the others are probably wood. And the ceiling is probably branches.
I'm going to add one more thing to this. On the right wall is a window. It's one of those large, sort of like maybe the stone wall one. It's one of those like reading sort of nooks. It's this window that sort of branches out. The window doesn't open, but you instinctively come over and sit in this little spot. And as you do, the image in the window changes to be that of a snowy mountaintop. And then it changes again to be that of a sort of bustling cityscape, and then a sort of a harbor town as your thoughts begin to wander and
Alright.
move about.
When you say he's green, like he's not green and furry, he's just like green tinged skin?
Are
Does he
you
have,
are
like,
you getting up
sparkly?
close?
Yes.
Give me.
To ask.
I'm not even gonna ask if she's stealthy about it because I know she isn't. Give me an investigation check as you investigate.
Because I
Anyway.
investigate him.
Just-
Yes. That would be
And when
a
do you-
17.
Do you allow her to do this? Like she kind of picks up your arm and she sort of looks
Oh,
at it and like looking at it. Okay, so here's the deal. From far away, when you're looking at him, his skin looks like skin. Like it looks like green skin, almost akin to any of the skin that you all have. upon closer inspection, though, it's more fibrous. Like it's more like it's little strands all sort of woven together. He doesn't have pupils in his eyes. It's kind of a yellow sort of cloudiness in the eyes, almost when you look at like a overly pollinated air. That's sort of little specks of yellow sort of floating in these spheres. And as you look at his skin, it looks human from upon first glance. He's not really wearing a shirt, and the more you sort of look at the chest area, that's when you can see more that it's fibrous. It's not skin. It's tightly woven or plant material.
I don't want to get creepy and say we're gonna be best friends forever, but oh my gosh.
Oh, that's lovely, but I think I'll probably outlive you. But for a while.
How long do you live?
A couple 100 years.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, I probably won't live that long.
Let's cycle back downstairs
Yeah,
as the
exactly.
investigation is happening.
Okay. Mother,
Yes, dear.
who is he?
Who is who, dear?
The man you just let into our home.
No, I know who he is, and he introduced himself, but if you were too rude as to not pay attention to his name, then I don't want to reward that sort of behavior in this
No,
house.
Mother, I know his name is Anne.
Yes.
And I know he came from something called the Mother Tree.
Yes.
But you gave him a room.
No, I didn't. The house did.
You're part of the house.
That is true.
So in essence, you gave him a room.
Oh, so because I am part of the house, me and the house are the same thing in your mind.
I guess that's not accurate.
No, it isn't, and you're very rude to say so.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Is it safe here?
Is he safe to be around? My darling, my child, I would not put anyone in this house that I believe to be a threat to anyone near it. If there is a room prepared, it means that there needs to be a room prepared.
Okay. But is it safe here?
In
We
the-
thought we were under magical protection.
Do you remember how you came about this house?
Yes.
Imagine a lantern, dear. And just like that, mother pulls a lantern off from the wall. And she goes, the lantern is in a very dark spot. When you came in, there was a flame in this lantern, and you snuffed it out. And she blows out the flame that's in this lantern. Now, over time, you brought a light back into the house by having Vandy here, by having everyone here. And as the more time you spent, the larger that flame became, allowing more light to be shed. And she gestures to herself. She gestures to Father's Day. Okay. I now have the ability to protect all of you. To a degree. And the more time spent, the more this house becomes a home, the stronger I will become. Are you protected here perfectly? No. Because that's not how life works. But I will make sure that this is a safe place for you, for Bandy, for all of my children, including Emily.
Thank you, Mother.
You're welcome, dear. Now please go clean your room. Like I mentioned before, it's still a little dirty.
I know where everything is.
I know where everything is. And she sort of walks away back to the kitchen. Let's head back upstairs.
Just for clarification, you said hundreds of years? Meaning like, I don't know, how many hundreds of years?
Roughly 2 to 3.
My great grandfather lived to 500. My great grandmother was 450. Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Oh, they're not life.
Yes. I mean, I'm not supposed to be happy about that.
And now I am concerned for the well-being of both of you, so we are moving on.
There is an instant connection apparent to everybody in the plant between the druid and the plant guy. And it's very quick, it's immediate, it's fast, and even so much so that Charlotte seems to be bamfing back between the two of them, just crawling up Thoe's shoulder and then back over to Emlyn and then sort of looking around the room.
And Day this whole time has kind of just been looking around the room, like just. I wouldn't say investigating, but trying to see if anything looks threatening, and just like being her natural self. But she, from what I can tell, she wouldn't have found anything, so she just moves on. Like,
Sure.
if that's okay.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
establish.
yeah. I think you are free to sort of if you don't find any interest, you move back to your room. And it's been a long few days for you guys. I don't think a little time of rest and recuperation. I will say that Thoe, and then when you kind of spend the day, sort of tell me more about the tree, and you sort of tell her about your backstory and about what brought you here and things of that sort. Yeah, she's
I
constantly being.
hope I'm not bothering you by constantly touching you, because I can't help myself.
Are you doing anything with your day?
I'm actually going to go out the front door,
Okay.
turn towards the house, and I'm going to cast plant growth and grow a garden around the outside of the house.
She's allergic.
No, we should have pollinated plants. It depends on what he grows.
Are the sunflowers and rainbow flowers still there, or did they disappear?
They are still there.
Okay.
There's some odd sort of vegetation, but for those of you that are following and sort of keeping an eye on your new house guest, you notice he sort of takes a stroll about the garden and about the grounds of the house, growing various plants.
I'm making seed pods open. I'm making flowers blossom.
That's very cute. Watch this. And he snaps, and out of his hand grows a flower.
It's about noon. This process takes a long time, but you guys spend sort of a pleasant morning together as things sort of progress. I imagine you spent some time with books and going over spells and things of that sort. At around 1 or so, a little after lunch, are you doing something?
Yeah, I wanted to take a second and very cautiously approach Anwin after I've seen the garden bloom.
Okay. I will say as you cautiously approach and when you give me a stealth check.
Didn't go. I got 10.
Charlotte will turn around to look at you before anyone notices you, but the movement will cause him to sort of turn around and look, and you notice the guy with the hat and sort of.
Can I help you?
I wanted to apologize for. I was rude when you first got here. I insulted your spider. Mother welcomed you into the home. I should as well.
I'm not just that. I suspect that being suspicious of strangers would be normal for anyone. Now, the insult in Charlotte, that's something you'll have to take up with her. But
I will not look directly at her, but look like just a little over her. And say, I'm very sorry I insulted you, Charlotte.
She will bow.
it's fine, dear. He's trying.
It's a nice garden that you have grown.
Oh, thank you.
Could you possibly include some alchemic ingredients?
Oh, I can try my best. Is there something specific you're looking for?
Nothing that comes to mind. Just anything you might find useful.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Speaking of what I can do, can I do that?
Did I do that?
Thoe,
And then I had that
response to his like, now I can grow plants out of my hand. Has rebutted that. Because at this point she's
With?
showing off because she adores him. With Speak with Plants, but one aspect of Speak with Plants that I did not realize is not only can I like communicate with them, but they can like follow commands. That they can't like uproot themselves and move around, but they can move branches and tendrils and stalks and do all sorts of things. So I've got them doing all sorts of little coordinating, dancey sorts of things and fun things. Because, you know, at this point,
Why not? That's lovely.
It is particularly a scene out of Fantasia outside as Enwin and Thoe begin to go about the garden, and the spider and the plants seem to respond in movement and sound and open up, and Mother looks on from the window, very pleased that to.
Looks on from the window.
Yes. No, you're fine, Graham.
So I know that this is awesome. This is great. I love this. This is wonderful. Which
She seemed to say, not meaning a word.
I'm sorry. Are you still inside or are you outside?
Oh no, I sat down to have tea, and I've just been hanging out in the chair watching. Well, no, we're fangirling upstairs, and so I've just been downstairs hanging out.
After they would have gone out, they probably would have stayed inside for a little while. Would she have noticed like a change in him as far as gray and everything?
Give me insight. You know him better than most. I will say insight at advantage.
22.
Yeah, he's different. You don't know what it is. You can't place your finger on it, but he's happier. He's got a little bit more pep in his step. He seems more in control of his actions. Less sort of fighting impulses. Before Grim, you would notice every time he got angry, even stubbing a toe, there would be this like count to 100, 1,000, and like the claws. But he's a little different now. Occasionally he'll be doing something and he'll talk to himself. Like out loud? I don't think you would hide it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
no,
think
this is the what's up, dude?
yeah, like
What
it's
up?
almost this camaraderie. It's not like when you talk to yourself, like, all right, go pick up some milk, eggs. No, he's like, hey man, you can use it. Like, you know, it's.
That was awesome.
So he's been talking to himself a lot more.
So what's going on with you?
It feels like a rebirth. It feels like it's just almost like a new energy is with me, just flowing, coursing with me. It's fantastic.
Oh, well, I'm happy to hear that.
It's wonderful. And with you, you're also fine. I'm assuming
Fine is an interesting word to use. Can you use it in a sentence?
you are also fine.
A different sentence.
Are you doing fine?
Define the word and its origin.
Hebrew, it's 13th century. Means lack of total interest, but slightly interested. Verb.
She's cute.
Dude.
For real.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah?
That was great. Kind of pissed her off though.
Was. Oh, are you? Wait, was that out loud or
Yeah.
was?
Wait. No. Okay, so the other part of was you just had to hear it. The other. Wait,
you said
can't hear it.
I can't hear it. You said she was great.
Yes, it was kind of awesome. Very, very, very lovely. Very lovely.
As in, is not anymore. Understood.
Wait. So, who are we talking about?
As he says that, I need to know where everybody is in the house. Outside in the garden.
I've probably gone up to my room by now.
Back of the house or front of the house? You tell me.
Back of the house.
Back of the house.
Library.
Library.
Kitchen?
Kitchen.
I'm probably still in well.
Where? I thought you said you were having tea in the kitchen.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But yeah, wherever the tea was, that's where I would have been.
Okay, you're in the kitchen. Mother is washing dishes, and she looks up, and as she does something that she has never done before. She drops a plate, and the plate shatters. As the plate shatters, her head darts towards the front door. She looks at you two, and she says, "Go get your brothers and get your sister out of the bathroom."
I'm wasting no time.
Which way are you going? Because I'll go the opposite way.
Front door.
She walks over towards the front door and she starts smoothing her clothes down. As she's smoothing her clothes down, she's standing at the front door with her arms folded in front of her, like this, just at the front of her apron. As she does this, who runs in the backyard to get them?
Me.
Day says, "Trouble, like come to the front of the house." Summon you all forward. At this point, he's run to grab you and you. You guys all sort of convene in the house as a knock on the front door happens. Mother opens the door to a guard in full regalia, almost dress uniform with a red heart on the side of it. He goes, begging your pardon, ma'am. We're here to speak with one Mr. Mandrake Madigan.
Do I know who it is?
Yeah, give me a roll. Give me an intelligence to see if you remember who this guy is.
Is it at advantage with background or just?
Yeah, at advantage with background.
You said intelligence?
It's straight up int check.
20.
Yeah, you do recognize this guy. This is Liaison. Liaison is the official sort of. There's no other way to put this. Sort of the courier of the court, delivering summons, invitations, and things of that sort. He's usually not this far away from the castle, but you recognize him.
He's the messenger boy.
Messenger boy. Official messenger boy.
Got it. She's gonna duck behind a couch.
Okay.
He-
Mother sort of turns back from the door and looks over at you and says, "Mandrake, you have a visitor?"
I'm gonna step ahead and just be like, "Hi, Mandrake."
Sure. Give me a deception check.
I have that, right?
You do.
That's gonna be 20 on that.
You shake hands with Liaison, who sort of smiles and nods his head, and then turns to look at the guy wearing the hat, and turns back to you and says, I beg your pardon, sir, but we were told about the..."
He's just holding it for me. For now.
I'll nod my head and the hat and fly over onto his.
"Oh, very well, sir. Good. If you don't mind, I was told to deliver a message to you and perhaps one other person outside of the house."
It cannot be here. I mean, assuming the threshold, but
No, sir. It's sort of a magical. There's no other way to describe this. Someone wants to speak with you, but they're not able to cross the threshold. And as he says, threshold, they're not able to cross the threshold. Mother gives a quiet chuckle.
Shall we?
we shall.
The two of them look at you, and Mother gives you each a kiss on the cheek as you leave the house. And
Before you go, sir, just so we know who we're dealing with here, can I have your name?
he looks at you. Are you still shirtless?
Mm-hmm.
No, you may not.
That's fine.
May I have your name?
Yes, you may.
And your name is?
Listen.
Thank you.
So, and he will lock the two of you outside of the house. He'll start leading off in a sort of easternly fashion. You get to the white ring of rocks. As he gets to the white ring of rocks, he sort of looks at it nervously. He tries to hop over it, but trips and winds up like falling. Like, damn it! And like he like wipes off his uniform and sort of continues walking. Do you follow?
Yeah. Up to like where the barrier of like the rocks is. Like
Yeah, I would stand
not
at
not
the
really
ring of rocks.
passing it. Just stay
Yes.
there.
He apologizes. He says, it's ascending. I'm so sorry. Just on the other side. I will walk a ways away if you would like.
I want to like survey the area a little bit.
Sure, give me what are you looking for? You looking for people in the woods?
Any people in the woods, anything he might have on his person that's visible.
Give me an investigation check.
21.
He doesn't seem to be holding anything as you sort of survey the
Oh
landscape.
wait, 23.
He's not holding anything on his person. In fact, he puts his hands up when he says this, and as he does, it's a really high investigation. He does have a little bit of sweat forming. However, when you survey the area, Grim, I will say, helps out with this. Grim, you don't smell jack and shit. Like there's nobody else in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, you first perspire, you know, like
You don't know whether it's sweaty because he's like freaked out that like he's heard stories about him or
Right.
you or whoever
Something.
or
Yeah, sure.
something, and if he's just right now by himself or if it's something else.
Alright, well, if I don't feel like that danger, then I'm just gonna
Walk.
I'm gonna cross over.
Yeah, walk.
Not yet. Liaison. You seem nervous. Why?
They say that you're very good at killing people, sir.
Me?
Yes. You're the wolf one, right?
Fair. I step across the line.
He breathes out a sigh as the two of you step across the line. His eyes dart downward to the transportation circle on the other side of the white rocks. As you two step upon the transportation circle, you appear in a stone room. 10 guards on either side, and Red Jack sitting in a chair behind a table, eating some food. It's just a sort of large sort of haunch of meat. He's got a goblet next to him.
This is fine. This is fine. I've heard it's really good to split the party.
No, this is
He's-
fine. You
he's
don't understand
finishing,
how fine this
his
is.
food. And he says,
Fine?
All right. Well, that took a little longer than I wished it would. Hello, Mandrake. Welcome, Grim. Yes?
Yes.
I'll nod and the hat comes back to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
And you are.
Oh, Red Jack. Sorry. He wipes his hands on his uniform and extends a hand out towards you.
I'm going to stop Grim's hand.
Somebody's already peed all over you, haven't they? I am.
We'll get back to that later.
I am very pleased to offer an invite to you and your motley crew. On behalf of the good lady Queen of Hearts, it seems you all have kicked up enough dust throughout the Kingdom of Wonder that she would like to meet you and shake your hand for all the good that you have done. And so, it is my job to extend this invite to all of you as such. And by all of you, I do mean all of you. The green furry one, the little one that can't seem to get a bead on, was with you that day. The wizard. So, yes, all of you.
Will this party be gathering rather be happening at the castle, or
It will. We will provide safe transport from where you are to here. I will send you back here, of course, after we're done with our little meeting. And then you will, this evening, if you would, please join the Queen for dinner.
And like a gentleman, as I'm assuming you are, you'd allow us a moment to decide if we're to accept the invitation.
Oh, you're serious?
Well, I mean, we're in this place, and you had summoned us here, so I would imagine it would be our choice, right? Like, we could choose to be a part of it or choose not to.
Hey, I'm going to speak slow, so even someone like you can understand. Wolf Boy, the queen, who rules over everything, wants you to come to dinner this evening. You can say no, but that means you'll be saying no to the queen, who rules everything. Do you understand?
Crystal.
Good boy.
In all fairness, Jack,
Hmm?
you started this whole thing with a deception.
I did. How did I deceive you?
Your errand boy, Laison,
Hmm?
he said it was ascending.
Please. Alright. Well, don't blame the messenger. You can shoot him if you want. I'm tired of his shit anyway. But if he had told the truth and said your good friend Red Jack summons you in which to extend an invite, would you have gone?
Of course not.
No, you wouldn't have gone.
But you could have just sent ascending.
I could have, but for some reason, wherever you're staying right now, and this is curious, the sending isn't going through. I can't even look upon you and check on your health. Check to see if you have any other visitors.
We obviously have to ask the rest of the people invited before we can speak for them.
Of course. Do you know, though, if anyone has any dietary restrictions? I find that it's odd. I was never one for meat. No, but I find as the older I get, the more my tastes expand. Do you know that there are some tribes of the Furbolgs and other tribes that sort of live about the area that believe that if you eat other creature, you absorb some of its life essence? Is that fascinating to you? See, because gnome is a little gamey to me. It's got this odd flavor. It's like stringy in my mouth. And the pieces get caught in there, and I have to pry them out. So I just wanted to ask, do you have any dietary restrictions, Mandrake?
Anything red lately?
Good. Good to know. What about you, doggo?
I would say, but I'm all out of bullshit. I'm done eating what you're feeding me. So
I do have a present. It's from me, it's not from her. And he will snap a hand, and as he does, he will, one of the guards will step forward with a little tiny box and place it in front of you. And says, I would open it when you get back. Open it outside of the circle. If anything bad were to happen to you, I would lose my position. I'm not bullshitting. For some reason, the Queen wants to speak with you. Okay? Do you understand?
let's go.
You'll have an answer. And then I'll step into the circle.
Bye, bitches! Woo!
You appear at this point, and you see the faint image of Laison, who is booking full ass into the forest as fast as he can to head back to the village. But you are now.
How fast is he moving?
Yep.
You've been gone for a while. I mean, I think you would probably catch the tail end of it. He's gone. He's gone.
Just say about 3 times the movement speed I can catch him.
No, he's out of this point.
So like within 120 feet?
No, no more than that.
No more than that? Oh, okay. Wait. How do we feel about...
Alright, you guys are back. You are back to the outside of the house.
And I'm assuming that box is probably at our feet or something, or unless he handed it to us.
Oh yeah, it's right outside your feet.
Okay. We need to get someone that can open this from a distance. I don't trust Red Jack as far as I'd rip his body apart.
Is 30 feet enough?
I say as long as we're staying on this side of the circle, we can open on that side and be well enough. I just don't be one.
I don't want to take the box inside the circle.
Not at all.
Okay.
Go get them.
Gonna run outside. I need everybody outside.
Is it gone?
This is still the same day as all the stuff that happened last episode, right?
Nope.
This was new
This
day.
is the next
We
morning.
woke up by
Very
his knocking.
next day.
Yeah.
I just never took
You are all summoned by Grin and Mandrake as they regale what happened, and they lead you to the box outside the circle.
We need it opened.
Would
But
you like
take
to
cautious.
detect
Caution.
magic on it? I mean, I could find out at least like what it is, or maybe what's in it if it's not.
Can you mage hand through the force field?
We can always try.
And if not, I mean, Charlotte can definitely open it.
I wouldn't want her to get hurt.
Oh, she'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
We can find out what kind of magic's in it before we try opening it. I mean, if there's any magic, but I assume there is.
I'm gonna turn to Mother.
No.
It's outside the circle.
Mother is on the front porch of the house.
Okay. Mother, can I use Mage Hand through the White Rocks?
Dear, if you cast it outside and sort of back into it, and the magic is there, that might be a slight way around it.
Okay. It's outside the rocks. Can you tell anything about the box from there?
No, dear, it's outside.
Toei. This came from the Red Queen.
Oh, well, it seems like even more reason to find out about it before we open it.
We'll just not open it, because we don't have to.
Red Queen. Okay. Can I like look at this box and because I feel like this is something Jack would give because we'd sit there and ponder over it. Do I need to roll anything or like?
I'm sorry. What are you trying to figure out here?
Never mind. This this is just
This is
a
his
game.
This is his MO. This is a game. This
This
is.
has Jack written all over it.
Jack gave it to me.
He
But
was
he
very.
swore.
He was very specific that this was not from her. This was from him.
So, you saw Jack.
Unfortunately.
Can you send Charlotte, please? More frankly, I bet there's nothing gonna hurt us in here. Quite frankly, we're too valuable to him.
Wait.
Who's Jack?
Sorry, this one can make flowers appear and reappear in the garden and create all kinds of things. So why did he do it? His powers seem to work.
I just said I could have Charlotte.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Get him to do it.
To answer your question, the Red Jack is the Red Queen's right-hand man. And he's made it very clear that my family is on his list.
Let me take a wild guess. He invited you to some extravagant party where the Queen demands your appearance. If you deny the Queen, you're denying everything, and you might as well be dead. Am I close? Am I close? Did I get anywhere? Am I...
You minus the lack of insults, yeah.
Do you understand me?
Oh, perfect. That was,
Oh, perfect.
it's
see?
entirely.
Yes. Alright. So we have a decision to make. Regardless, we need to know what's in this box.
So if you all just step back, Charlotte can get it by.
Please and thank
I'll
you.
place the box outside of the circle, just put it
As
on
it
the
was.
ground, and step inside.
All right.
Once everybody's a safe distance away, it's just Charlotte, would you dare?
And she poofs to poof over to the, but she kind of stops at the white stones and then just has to sort of walk across. So she sort of looks back at you confused. She comes over and using her legs, she manages to pry open the sort of wooden latch, and the box is open. And she turns back to look at you.
Do we need to know what's in it?
Yes.
Alright. I'm gonna close my eyes and look through Charlotte and see what she sees.
You see a finger.
There's a finger in this box.
Is
Red.
it-
That's red. So
A
Is-
red
Wait,
finger.
snack for
Is it a
Charlotte,
red finger
or-
like the flesh is red, or is a red finger like it's covered in blood and that's why it's red?
The flesh is red.
Is it a little
It's
finger?
a red finger.
All right.
I'm gonna immediately turn to Nick and say, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Now you can give me insight.
Just gonna call Charlotte back.
17.
He's predictable. It's the invite, it's the insult, and the encouragement. They got the invite, they got the insult. There's your encouragement. The queen would never condone such an action. She doesn't care how he gets it done, he just gets it done. It's probably why he's been there so long. The queen's not sending the finger, he's sending the finger. But they're gonna come to the invite.
It's to get us to go there. Takes the thing you love most. If hurting you is the thing you worry about the most, he'll hurt you. But if he hurts somebody else and that gets him what he wants faster, we have to go.
We
Oh,
have
yeah.
to
Where we
go.
go?
I will.
Info dump.
I will just fill him in on everything.
I will say this: the queen extended an invite. It is around noonish. I feel like you sit down for story time, and Charlotte sort of sits there with you. As a long time ago, the rains came. Like he fills you in on everything. What are we wearing to your dinner with the queen?
So,
Yep.
how did Jack? Does Jack know who's in this party? Did he describe us?
Am I there for this? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're all.
Okay,
it's
You,
the-
I, for the sake of story, I said that they explained to you kind of what happened.
Mhm.
The-
And I heard what you
the
said.
tall green one, the short one that they can't get a bead on, because when you appeared in the town square,
It was a pink-haired gnome.
it was a pink-haired gnome. It was Topher.
Okay.
So the short one that they can't get a bead on, the wizard, the wolf, like
And Alice. Dorothy.
He knows.
I'm wearing my best.
do it.
I'm gonna ask Mother if she has anything fit for a visit with the Queen.
Dear, what is it you're trying to say? Sometimes it's best to think about a conversation before having one.
If I'm going there, I need to look the part.
You know what they say about bullies, right?
Whoever hits them the hardest becomes the new bully.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yes. Actually, I like that more than I was going to say. And she will go to your closet and spend a little bit of time sort of looking at your closet and placing her hand against the wood there. As she pulls her hand away from it, there is this, as something sort of falls into the closet. She's like, I think this will help you communicate exactly what you wanted to communicate.
Okay. I'll go over and pick it up.
As you open the closet, it is a 3-piece suit of such garishness. It almost looks like Disney's version of the Mad Hatter walk-around character.
Okay.
Of sort of purples and greens and yellows and polka dots, and the shoes are each a different sort of make and model and things of that sort. And she sort of looks over at you and gives you a little wink as you look at it.
Is there any red on it anywhere?
No.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, he's calling me a dog and all that other shit. I'm gonna go hard. I'm just gonna wear like the biggest fur coat I could possibly get. But it's gonna be one of those things where I'll be like, yo, Gray, we're gonna do this big. What do you think first? Show what we can do.
Treat yourself.
Trying to get that game. Woo! So yeah,
Gray in your mind is running around in a little circle like an excited dog. Like park, go to the park, go to the park. Like,
so I'm gonna get a nice gold chain, black
Perfect.
shirt, black pants, and then a long.
Does it have
thick-
piping on it?
Oh yeah, no. And just a big, thick, like.
to the
gray-
nines.
To the nines,
great.
it's blue that matches my hair.
Perfect.
I don't really have anything, so I'm just gonna go in the things I would normally go in, because I don't really understand why we're dressing up for this, or even going in, well, I know where we're going, but I don't understand why we're expected to dress up.
Like, hi, I'm the new kid.
Are you going? I mean, you really don't have to, I guess, but, I mean,
I think he said that I was expected.
well, they didn't describe you. They probably didn't know about you yet. He didn't get described, right? He wasn't
He
part
was
of it?
not described.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could probably stay here, but
We could use all the help we
Yeah.
can get.
Oh, I'm
you're,
going.
you're not expected to go. It's
I've never met royalty before. This is fun.
Okay.
Is there a way you could be there on the scene? Just in case.
I can be there unseen. I might be able to help.
But they know you're
Giant
going to
green
be
guy.
there.
Well, that makes sense too.
You hear a little voice in your head. Boy, you are not going invisible with this thing. And if you kick up a little shit while you're there, I don't see anything wrong with that.
You know, unfortunately, I don't think I got it.
Well,
So we're going shirtless, pants, shoes.
Oh my gosh, and he's got a
I
Twinkie
don't-
accent and he's a plant.
Someone get her a bag.
Days,
So he starts singing Somewhere That's Green.
Day's gonna like really humble herself, and she's gonna kind of go to Mother. I don't know anything other than the black and whites and reds of the castle. Can you help me with something for this? And she'll change down to like the gnome that she was. This is what I saw the other gnomes wearing. I don't know. I think she's.
Mother will slowly come over to you. And as she does, she will bring you to look towards a mirror in your room. And as she does, she'll move her hand over you. And she says, "This looks good. However," she will press a hand over you and the illusion will disappear. "This also looks very nice on you."
The gnome illusion?
It's just you.
It's just Day.
It's just that. The girl that ran away is different from the girl that stands before me now. For one, you have your brother and your brothers and your sister to watch your back. And if I know royalty like I think I do, it would be very uncomfortable for her to start with while you all live.
It's not just them, it's. I didn't say goodbye to somebody.
Don't you think perhaps it might be time to do that?
Maybe so.
There's my girl. She will bend down and give you a kiss on the cheek. And we'll sort of walk out of the room as everyone sort of congregates in the foyer for when it is time. And there's an odd feeling of quietness, with the exception of Eminem, who's just sort of like, so we're going to a party? There is a soft knock at the door. As the six of you turn towards it, Mother also turns towards the door, and she takes a step backward and sits in a large chair and breathes heavily as the soft blonde hair surrounding her turns a bright, vibrant red. And the Queen of Hearts' voice comes through the door saying, I thought it best to extend an invite to you, my son. That's where we're going to take our intermission tonight, folks. Right before we leave for dinner with the Queen. We're going to refill some drinks. We're going to get some snacks and things of that sort. And then we will be right back with more Wonder in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. We'll see you very, very soon.
rise. You must overcome.
Hi, everybody. We are back. Thank you so much for staying tuned as we have another, as we meet a character that counts as a short rest. Yes. So any spells exhausted at this point are now replenished. We take you back as the Red Queen, or a female voice of what you assume to be the Red Queen, might have just spoken to you from outside the front door of the house.
She's ducking behind a couch again, like where she can't be seen. First and foremost.
And did I notice her like dipping out?
I think everybody noticed Day just being
just
like, shit!
jump
And
behind
sort of like jump behind her. She's also pretty tall. She's not a gnome anymore, so when Day jumps behind the couch, she has to lay behind the couch. Like,
Right.
it's not like, oh, I'm gonna crouch down. Like,
So I just want to be where if she's at the door and we open the door, she cannot see me.
okay.
You find it best we're all in this together. We should all do this together.
Not this time. Not this time. I'll be mean it.
Alright, I'm gonna head towards the door and open the door.
Cool. You open the door. There is no guard. There is no entourage. There's nothing. But this woman in front of you, who's wearing a red pants of a dark sort of color, and she's wearing a white shirt. She's not wearing sort of the formal dress. It could be anybody that's sort of walking the marketplace. She's got long black hair. She looks young, but the signs of age are starting to sort of creep in a little bit. She's got some crow's feet the sides. She's got deep smile lines in her face. This is somebody that smiles a lot and often. And it's not what you imagined the stories of what you've heard the Red Queen to look like. She's wearing these faint, sort of like red tinted spectacles, but you can still see her eyes, which are this sort of soft green color behind them. As you open the door, she smiles genuinely and says, "Grim, lovely to finally meet you in person."
And I'm just gonna bow, and what may I address you as?
No, please, no bow, not here tonight. Please, address me as. I'm going to have to say Your Highness, but it's just as a formality.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't dream of calling you anything else. Your
She
Highness.
She laughs at that. Like, thank you.
Of course. And what do we owe this great honor of you being here with us tonight?
If you would like, I understand your hesitation, and I apologize for Jack's methods. They get results, but he can be a little much. I know how nervous you were. I was sort of observing from the sides, and Mandrake. Good God, you look exactly like him.
Which one?
Your great grandfather.
Thank you for the compliment.
Very well. I'm afraid we haven't met yet, and don't know your name.
Nix.
Nix. Lovely to meet you, Nix.
What will you do to Red Jack for his actions?
I'm sorry?
Well, you know what he did, yes?
He invited you to dinner.
He severed my friend in order for us to come here.
I'm gonna pull out the box and show it to her.
She maintains eye contact with you and extends a hand outward. She extends a hand outward while still maintaining eye contact with you. The box flies into her hand. She crunches her fingers like this, and the wood just disappears. The finger sort of floating in the air where the box was. As she takes it, this belongs to.
A friend of mine.
Would you excuse me for a minute?
Of course.
She steps out from the door and sort of walks off the porch a little bit. She places the finger on the ground. Her eyes go a deep burgundy red. She is silent for a time. And then all of a sudden, there is a, I don't know, like a snap of air disruption far off, like a little off from the white circle. And she strides forward out of sight from where you all are in the living room.
This is normal for royalty.
She comes back with a bedraggled and bewildered Flint, who sort of stumbles forward. He looks beat to all hell. He's missing a finger. She goes, "Is this him?"
Yes.
She looks towards you and looks at all of you, and she places a hand on Flint's face, and he sort of recoils at the touch of someone else right now, and she kisses his forehead. As she kisses his forehead, his wounds about him start to heal. His bruises start to be better. She reaches down for the finger and she places it on his hand, and as it does that, the finger reattaches itself to him, and he sort of looks shocked and taken aback. But he is looking at her.
This is.
Thank you.
I'm deeply sorry. I had no idea. I believe your friend is inside waiting for you. And he sort of looks over at you and looks around the space and just sort of like cautiously walks into the house and sits down. Mother, who is now reacting, takes him and leads him into the kitchen and nods to you and like closes the door behind the two of them.
How close is the couch to the kitchen?
She steps back up to the front. The couch is somewhat close to the kitchen.
It'd be rather rude not to invite you in royalty after all, your Majesty.
No,
This is for sure the Red Queen. Like,
you don't know. You are not up. You are not looking at her. You are hearing a voice. I'm sorry. Chloe, is it?
Yes.
Your skin. It's very lovely. The fur.
It's green.
It's very green.
Yes.
Yes. We have these lovely sort of botanical gardens up front.
Where?
Around the Red Keep, dear. They're very lovely. You should come and visit sometime. My daughter speaks very highly of you.
Your daughter?
Princess.
I met Princess.
Yes, you did.
She was very nice.
And you. I'm so sorry. I don't seem to know who you are. I'm caught off guard, and that rarely seems to happen to me. May I have your name?
You may call me Enwin.
Hmm.
May I have yours?
Yes, you may. As I said before, you may call me Your Majesty. I am your queen, Enwin. And there seems to be one missing from the party. Is that correct?
She's indisposed at the moment, I'm afraid.
Oh dear, that's terrible. I thought as a final gift to all of you, I know there's a bit of nervousness being at the Red Keep, and I understand completely. I will reprimand Jack, as I see forthwith. But until then, my final gift to all of you, and she sort of gestures outward past her. If anyone would like to step up to the door and sort of look out.
I'll step to the door.
Mandrake, as you step out, there is a white tent that's sort of set up outside of the house, and with a large table set forth with food and drinks. She says, I thought you might be more comfortable being a little closer to home.
Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness.
Quite welcome.
Your Highness, may I ask you a very curious question?
Please, should we have some food first, or is this a...
Sure, no, this could be over a table talk, sure.
Bryn, please, I'm a guest in your castle. Ask away.
Red Jack, by chance does he have a pet name or a nickname of sorts that you might call him? Or is it just Red Jack?
No, it's just Jack.
Just Jack. Thank you.
Very well.
Why did you want us here? I mean, why are we at all important to any of this?
To thank you, dear, for the good that you have done. For your names have been sort of bandied about, and I want to thank you. And besides, this house has not seen visitors for quite some time. So that means something. Your name sort of whispered about. I know that you were in the Red Keep a few times, or close to it at the mouth, and unfortunately I was unable to make an appearance to express my hellos, but I thought I would now. Now being a good as time as any.
I will go fetch our companion.
Please don't.
Oh.
If
She cannot miss audience with the queen.
if she is uncomfortable, then she should come out at her own time.
She's merely getting ready, my queen.
Give me a deception check.
I'll assist him.
No, you will not. Not from behind a couch.
No, it's 21.
Unless you know what? No. How?
I am going to.
Yeah, be good.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I'm going to invoke duplicity,
Okay.
and I'm going to have Day's doppelganger walk down the stairs. I know this isn't exactly what you're thinking. I know. Give me a second. But that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Day's doppelganger comes walking down the stairs. Huh. Dad, is that you?
And then she. I know this isn't what you're thinking of, sorry. She's going to find her way around and try to stand up while she's staring at the doppelganger. So I don't know if I need to stealth. I just don't want her to see me coming up from behind the couch. I want her to see me walking in with my head high.
Sure. There is a moment where where seamlessly, I will say, using your charms and your magic, where you sort of get up at the same point that the doppelganger is standing there and sort of take her place. So it looks as if you walked down the stairs and appeared in the room. Dick.
She'll do her bow. Queen?
We thought you did.
Might as well have been.
Well, this is a pleasant surprise to me, what a day. Why don't we retire? And please, and eat and drink and allow me a measure of grace that I may extend to each and every one of you.
It sounds wonderful. Shall we take our seats?
She will walk outside of the house, and as she does, the minute she crosses sort of over the white line of the threshold, she makes her way to a seat. There's 2 seats at the head of the table and a few seats toward the middle, and she does not sit at the head of the table. She sits in one of the sort of middle seats.
Can I grab her seat? Like, whatever one she's sitting, I can just like pull it off for her and say,
You go to do it, and she shakes your hand. She says, "When we are in the court, I'm your queen. Tonight, I am merely a friend, inviting you all to dinner."
Impulse. I'm terribly sorry.
She sits and talks. Goblets are sort of passed around the table. She makes eye contact with all of you and makes sure to, as drinks are given to her, she sips them first, and everything is sort of poured out of the same pitcher. As food is presented, she takes a random piece and bites it and eats it first, so as to make eye contact with you that she's eating the food and that the food and drink is safe. So,
I will partake then.
Yeah, I have that way.
yeah. The food is amazing. The food is delicious. You eat and drink, and this is a thank you, and I'm very grateful that all you've done in this kingdom, and all of the good that you have done. How long have you been with the group, Emily?
Not terribly long.
9 hours.
Well, you have quite the shoes to fill, I imagine. But I'm sure you're here for a
They
reason.
seem to fit fine.
She laughs. Yes. So I guess the better question is, what can I do for all of you to make you feel more welcome in the kingdom?
I think you've already done what I would need.
One very silly, simple thing.
Please, anything.
And as you have graciously said in so many accounts, you are here with us in our kingdom. I wish nothing to be less than indelicate, but could you leash your dog, please?
I'm sorry?
Red Jack.
Leash?
If you could put a muzzle on it.
Oh. You wish no longer to speak and associate with him?
For him to speak at all would be more ideal.
I will take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Dave, it's lovely to see you.
I'm surprised you feel such a way.
Why is that, dear?
Many reasons. One of them being my absence. Another being the debacle.
You sleeping with my husband?
It's a strong word. Not so many ways. Forced, but I guess it still happened.
I understand. You don't know, do you?
No, what?
The king has taken it as of late. I have been foreseeing and overseeing things happening in the kingdom until he gets better. The sickness took on very sharp and very fast, and we have our sort of top wizards and druids in the kingdom that are sort of looking at him and keeping the illness at bay. However, for the time being, it seems that where others could not punish him, the universe has such deemed fit to punish him. It is a new era for Wonder Day.
And how does Princess feel about it?
She is angry and hurt that her closest friend and confidant.
It's about me. It's not about me right now, it's about her. Is she okay? Her father's dying, you're gone, talking to me.
Day, I think you've answered your own question. Now, I'm afraid I don't have much time. I do have an entire kingdom to run, and even taking such a luxury as to spend an hour with each of you and sharing this lovely food and drink has put me a bit behind schedule.
I appreciate it anyways, and I'll remember it.
I know you do, Nix. Thank you. That sort of courtesy is can't be taught.
One final favor.
Yes.
To North.
Yes.
Forgive their taxes.
The only absolutes in this world are death and taxes. I suppose I could. It is quite a bit, Mandrake.
They work tirelessly.
Maybe you could do a favor for me. It would go a long way to the people of Wonder if you were to do a favor for the court. I would not ask you to do anything untoward to any sort of race or people. It would just be something as simple as taking care of a problem. If you at all felt like it was against any sort of moral code, I would give you an out for it. But this would help me save face. Think of it, the Queen and a Hatter back together again. Think of what that could do.
I don't think my grandfather would approve.
Good thing I'm not your grandfather.
This might be an opportunity for you to save Sanaa.
What do you want me to do?
She will sort of snap her hand, and as she does, a sort of guard comes over with a silver platter, and he reaches up and takes the silver platter off, and she reaches in and grabs a piece of parchment paper. There is a small town, not too far from here, about a day's journey from where you are currently stationed, on the outskirts of the kingdom, by the name of Blaston. Blaston is a bit of a commerce central. They deal in specific trade that, this sounds silly. It's an alcohol sort of winery and meads and things of that sort. So it's grown quite a bit over the years. They've been plagued by some odd creatures. The reports are coming in as lizard-like creatures that walk on two legs and very odd looking. And I've sent some guards to investigate, and they have not returned. And I figured for an intrepid band of adventurers and one as clever as Day and all the rest, that this would be something that would be very easy for you all to handle.
So we go in, we clear out whatever sort of disturbance is in Blaston.
And just like magic, poof, all of the taxes that once plagued the town of Tanoth disappear in an instant by royal decree.
This is why you were here.
I'm sorry?
This had nothing to do with us. Other than you wanting us to do this for you.
No.
That's ironic. Okay, go ahead.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
She's saving face.
She's giving you an opportunity.
That she benefits from as
That-
much as we do.
What does that hurt? You can decline if you want.
And she knows I won't.
So why not accept?
This feels like a conversation that I shouldn't be a part of, that you all seem to be having. So, the offer stands. I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope to gain your trust as time goes on. You should listen to Nix. History check.
Who?
If I get advantage or no?
You didn't spend time with her. You purposely didn't spend time with her.
Oof.
No. 11.
You don't know. Is there anything I can do? What can I do? I brought your friend back. I had no idea. Tell you what, no, there's nothing I can do. There's no words that I can say. I can only show it through time and action. So allow me the chance. Allow me the chance to prove to all of you that I'm not the queen you think me to be.
Insight.
Sure.
Perhaps.
14.
What are you trying to insight?
If this is real, like if she's genuinely this nice, like I've interacted with her before. I've been her
What'd you get?
a 17.
I mean, you've interacted with her before. Royalty doesn't go.
Wait, 1 or 10? Yeah.
Royalty doesn't go hard in terms of like strong arming. You get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. But you know this. But it's hard to tell. It looks like she's being straightforward with you. How do you know when somebody's being duplicitous with you? But here's a present. Here's another present. Like it's hard to put your finger on it. This is how royalty, good royalty, lasts.
We can start with a bit of honesty.
Please.
How does Mother know you?
How does who?
Mother,
Who is mother?
in the house.
Is there another the woman there with the
Yes.
I have no idea.
But you mentioned the house and that it had been empty for so long.
I did.
How do you know that?
Because it wouldn't accept any of the people that I sent.
So you want the house?
No. I wanted the house. The house refused.
That shows at least a sign of some faith. The house was free-willed and free-minded in what it chose.
And why would the house refuse you?
Have you always had the hat?
I have not.
Why?
It hasn't come to yet.
Is that the reason? Or were you not ready?
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
That's right. 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Thank you for your honesty.
Of course. Could I sweeten the pot just a little bit?
Please.
Go ahead and bring them out. As she does, Red Jack comes forward and sort of bows to the queen and sort of eyes all 6 of you. And he stands behind the queen's chair, sort of arms crossed. And she goes, Jack, these fine people tell me that you were very rude to me, and this one suggests that I put a muzzle on you. How do we feel about that? And Jack sort of looks over at you, and looks over at you, says, I probably could have been a little nicer. I mean, I don't think that's the... And the queen will reach a right arm up while still smiling at all of you and curl her fingers, and Jack's left arm snaps. He does not make a sound. It hangs useless at his side. It snaps at the elbow.
I want to walk.
Good to see you again, Jack.
He, through gritted teeth, nods his head and says, "Day."
Jack.
Is there anything else, my queen? And she reaches up her other hand, and as she does, you see Jack inhale a little bit, and she brushes some hair to the side of her face and goes, "I think that'll be all, Jack."
Before he leaves, Mandrake's gonna say, "Look whose dog is trained well now."
You are some foolish.
Fuck, how do I want to do that?
Because you had one, and I needed to get mine in there too. Like,
Okay. As you say that, a little bit of blood comes out of Jack's mouth. You can assume that he's biting down on his tongue, and it broke the skin.
I want to walk over to Jack and just,
The minute you get up out of your seat, the queen's attention snaps to you. It says, "You have yours. This is mine. I punish you as I see fit. I do not smack your dog, and you will not smack mine."
well then, until that day comes, I'll let you be the punisher of your pet.
She stares at you for a long time.
It got heated.
And as she stares at you, you hear a whine come from Gray.
Oh God.
Well,
Oh God.
this has been illuminating. I feel like I know you all a little bit better. I feel like I know some of you a little bit less. But I'm going to leave the food in the tent here, just deem as you see fit. Please feel free, there is a town not too far away from here that you could donate the food to. Do with it whatever you will. I encourage you all to, when dealing with the courts, to be mindful of what you say. I house my dog in my backyard, but it is a very large backyard.
Can I insight her to see if, just like for like the whole time, if I think she's recognized who I am?
Sure.
Like a
Give me like a collective insight.
yeah. No, it's a 7, so never mind. It's worth a shot.
Is there anything else any of you would like to say before I take my leave?
I'm just gonna bow.
She will bow back to you. She will stand up and she will actually come over and give you a bit of a hug. And
I appreciate
if you
your
will-
grace.
Yes, it is a very familiar gesture.
She's gonna cast message.
Okay.
You keep referring to yourself as Highness and Majesty. Do you truly not have a name other than that?
You may have my name when you earn it. Right now I am a woman slighted. So today I am the queen. Who knows what I will be tomorrow? She sends another message back. I cannot apologize for an action that does not belong to me. But I will tell you now that I am rectifying a mistake with each passing hour. But do not forget who your queen is, Day.
I hope we can be helping out each other more in the future.
Well, I hope us to be as two mutually beneficial kingdoms. Each one working in tandem with the other, granting powers and insight into what makes us tick. That's what I hope for us.
I couldn't agree more.
thought you might. Great minds. I take my leave.
Thank you.
For what, Mandarin?
For coming here yourself.
Sure.
I know that our histories don't necessarily lend themselves to one another.
She will reach over and twist her hand and manifest a pen. She will extend it towards you.
I'll take the pen.
Here's to rewriting history.
History can't be rewritten. It can only be diverted.
Now you sound like an author. I hate those. It was very nice to meet you. Your spider is very lovely.
Isn't she though?
She is. I've seen quite a few of them as of late.
They're lovely creatures.
Depending. And Chloe, please do come by and visit. The gardens are calling to you. You only need answer.
I'd like to see them.
They would like to see you. Goodbye. And she will turn around and walk forward, and as she does, she will walk off into the woods, sort of a company of sort of servants and things following close behind her.
Mandrake, the next time we come in contact with Red Jack, he'll be looking up at us on his bended knees, praying and wishing that he was forgiven.
Give me a perception check.
For some shit. That's a 6.
Cool.
You must be smarter.
That's what they're telling you.
That's what I'm telling you.
That's what I'm agreeing with.
That's what Bixleby always taught me.
And that is fair for you, sir.
We aren't stronger.
No, but we can be smarter, but we can...
Can you? I'm sorry, really, I truly am. I apologize if I'm coming off a little crass, but you don't keep your mouth shut.
But
You
I kept
hid
my-
behind the couch.
And I kept my dagger sheathed.
What's that?
You lost your animal. Now, with that said, and I love you both very dearly or else I would not be in this household, I came out of the couch as myself in front of the queen. Can you please just listen when I say to be quiet in front of the Red Jack? He is rude and mean and will murder you in your sleep if she is not around.
Into the chest. Arrow from out of the tree line. Nat 20. Let's roll some damage.
Yes, sir.
27 points of damage as this bolt sort of erupts into you, and this black sort of energy comes out of the bolt itself, striking you in the chest.
I run over towards him and cast Cure Wounds.
Mage armor.
Okay.
I look for wherever the arrow came from.
Give me a perception check.
Same.
You search around. Both of you give me perception checks.
Perception is 22.
So, give me a heads up here. Do you have dark vision?
I do.
I do.
Okay. 22,
13.
13. Give me healing.
11.
It's perception, you said?
Mhm.
23.
Okay. Yeah, you guys think you spot there's a little bit of a floating light source off in the darkened sort of forest area as it's now nightfall, but I mean it's a sort of a
Fucking hell.
light source coming off from the
How
distance.
far away from us is this, probably? Where this arrow came from? Can we tell?
100 feet.
Eldritch Blast.
Do we know?
Twice. Give me
Cool.
attack rolls, please.
If I'm up, I can...
Let's see.
15 and an 18.
A 15 and an 18. You guys watch as sort of arcane energy. How do they manifest themselves in his hand? You got a color for these bad boys?
They look like very concentrated webs.
these very concentrated webs sort of appear in Enwin's hands, and he sort of fires them off in the tree line. One goes arcing outward and sort of blasts into a tree that's close to that area. The other one gets closer, but snags a low-hanging branch and just sort of explodes in a disruption of arcane energy.
Toss my hat.
Okay, we're gonna have to start rolling initiative soon, but you are not in combat, so you just toss the hat at this thing.
Do any of us have like a bow? A mining sword?
No, my hat feels
The
long.
good answer is no.
No. My hat's the
I'm
only
all
thing that comes
magic.
close.
Nobody does? Awesome.
Ah.
I'm gonna cast locate object on bow
Okay.
so that I can run towards there. It is within 1,000 feet. So I want to find that bow, and the second I do, I'm gonna cast fairy fire at where the bow is.
Sure. You cast a locate object on a bow, and you don't get a ping.
How far are these people, would you say?
You don't see people, you just see a light source from where you think it came from.
Does anybody got a beat on this thing?
There was an arrow.
Yes.
Yep.
It could be a crossbow.
Blow it up.
Hmm?
We'll blow it up.
You're gonna blow it up?
No, I'm saying it could have been a blow dog.
Yep.
Can
It's
I?
an arrow.
Technically,
set
that's
down.
a dog. That's a bolt.
Yeah.
Could be a very.
Can I track the smell? Like of. I mean, I could see them. I could see that.
You can see the little light.
Would
Yeah.
that cover crossbow?
It would.
It would cover crossbow. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna fucking just take
Shoot
off.
it out of the gun.
I'm sending Charlotte with it.
Take off running.
Okay.
I got those boots.
Yeah, after a bit of time, you start running towards this
Everything
light
after.
source. You're up on board as the spiders there. Dave, you doing anything while all this is happening? As Grim just sort of takes off running in the forest. How much did you heal him for?
11 points of damage.
11.
It's not the smartest thing I've ever done in my life, but you know, that just certain.
Before he takes off, I'm gonna hand him a potion of healing.
No,
No,
he's
already gone.
He's already
Sorry,
gone.
bye.
Grim went bye.
Grim, you get to the park in the woods where you see that sort of hanging light, and it's a lantern that's sort of swinging haphazardly. Below the lantern is the words "Grim" carved into the tree, and below it is a dead dog.
Do I know what killed? I mean, I got to see what killed it, but what killed it?
Yeah, give me an investigation check. I would even do nature here. Whatever one's higher.
They're both -1, 13.
You reach over and grab the dog.
No, I'm just gonna examine the body.
You get down real close on your knees.
Maybe I can smell.
You get down real close on your knees and you're examining the bite wound without sort of moving the dog. And you sort of look at it and it looks like at 19.
For my.
What did you roll?
Oh, I rolled a 13.
The 13?
Yeah.
It looks like something lacerated the neck of this thing.
And it's just like a stray dog, like nothing to.
Don't recognize the dog.
I'm gonna chase after him.
Yeah, I'm running after
Okay,
him.
you guys catch up to Grim.
So I'm
Who's
trying to figure out
standing,
this.
who's standing by this light, this dead.
I cast detect magic because that's going to tell me any presence of magic within 30 feet of me. If this wasn't a bow, then it was some sort of magical thing, and I am looking for anything that stands out.
You don't
Nothing.
see any magic. You realize that what was here may have
Gone.
left.
There is no
I'm gonna-
reason why this thing should have died. Not for me.
So you're back, or they're with you?
No,
They're
right
right
there.
there. They took off.
I didn't.
I'm gonna investigate the carcass as well.
Okay. Where are you guys?
I didn't move.
You're standing.
I'm not chasing shadows.
I hate it, but I would have gone with Day would have gone with them.
You're still there. Are you staying with him? Or you just sent
I sent Charlotte.
Charlotte.
24.
24 investigation. This thing's throat was ripped out by teeth.
I cast speak with plants, and I start talking to all the plants around me to try to find out what happened or who was there or where they went.
Hi.
Hi. We're looking for someone who attacked this dog.
Yeah, he was angry.
Yes. What did he look like?
He had red on his clothes.
Red on his clothes. I'm gonna say these things out loud so they can hear it. Red on his clothes. Did he did he look like and I'm gonna point out each of the party members, like, because we've got different sorts of, you know, what did he look like?
You guys kind of all look the same.
Oh, well.
Can
that makes
Mandrake
sense.
draw?
Hmm?
Can Mandrake draw?
Sure.
I'm gonna draw a picture
Draw
of
Red
Red
Jack.
Jack,
Is
and,
it?
and just like aim it at all the plants.
That was him. And then he changed.
What did he change into?
I don't know. He had long paws, like an animal.
He looked. Did he look like? Did he look like a dog like that?
Yeah.
Grin.
He kept saying, "My dog is bigger." And that's where we're gonna end tonight's episode, kids. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's Wonder. Hope you guys had a good time. We got to meet the Queen. Shit got moved sour. Tomorrow or next Tuesday, we have a good old-fashioned monster hunt, kids. I think we're actually going to do our very first little dungeon crawl, other than the house, as we go through and try to track down a killer monster. So that's messing with the town of Glaston. So tune in next week. We will be happy to have you join us. Thank you so much to the players. I hope I didn't traumatize them too much.
I'm not friends.
I'm not friends.
I'm fine.
Thank you, Edwin, for joining us here at the table. Woo! Mother and Mother was very happy to have you. So next week we fight the lizard men, and you guys should probably level up before then. So
Okay.
let's hit a level up. We have all suffered enough emotional trauma this evening. So and it's your welcome. You've done so much work, Edwin.
I'm
You're
really
welcome to
happy.
level 6. So I think that puts us at level 6.
Yep.
Yes.
I love how just conversation with us allowed him to level up.
This is honestly the most tense some of you have ever been playing this game and stuff like that. So yeah, we're leveling up to level 6. Thank you. Please tell your friends. Click that little heart in the upper corner. Next week we've got a lot of ground to cover. So players, wear diapers. We're not doing an intermission next week. We've got a lot of ground to cover, but we will have a lot of fun doing it. We will see you next week. As always, Indigo Connect.